What is up, you guys? You know what time it is. It is time for another weekly recap to talk about everything that's happening as we continue to inch closer and closer to WrestleMania. So let's jump right into it. Alright, let's talk about SmackDown because I feel like everyone on SmackDown has literally taken like a crazy pill or like a shot of something because they're all completely wild right now. We have Drew and Jacob literally brawling everywhere and anywhere they can. We don't even know if they're alive at this point because they fell off into like the depths of Nowheresville because we didn't see it because there's a fence there. So we don't even know where they are. Like I don't they could be in Thailand for all I know because we did not see them after the show. Don't know what they're doing, but all I know is that these two are going to put on a heck of a match at WrestleMania. And the momentum for this match is just going to continue, and I'm here for it. I feel like these two literally just want to go all out and pound each other's faces in, and that's kind of what you like out of like a wrestling, like because all of the matches that aren't title matches are kind of like filler matches. Not saying that they're not as important or they're not as good, but they're not for anything. And so you want matches like Drew and Jacob when you have nothing on the line really. Like you're literally fighting for your name and your pride and your ego, and so to have those kind of matches with that much fuel and that fire is going to be very good for that match card. We did have a surprise tag team champion change up. The team of Damian Priest and R-Truth beat the MFTs for the tag titles. And this one kind of surprised me. I did not expect them to win this quickly, and I honestly don't think they did either. Like if you saw Damian Priest's face, he was shocked as well. So I don't think that they expected to win. I'm not mad at the decision. Honestly, I'm not. I have nothing against the MFTs, nothing against Tama and Solo or any of them in that group. I actually really like Solo. I'm a big fan of Solo. But I don't mind that we're getting some new blood in the tag division for the men on SmackDown. And I also don't mind that it's R-Truth and Damian Priest because I think that they have a history with, when they were in the Judgment Day. And I will always root for R-Truth and Damian Priest's success. Like, I love both of them. And so I'm always going to root for their success. And this tag team dynamic's going to be really fun to see, and it might bring some entertainment aspect back to that tag division on SmackDown because we know both tag divisions kind of have been lackluster lately. So this may be the switch up that we need. We had another tag match between Fraxium and the Motor City Machine Guns, and Candice LeRae helped the Motor City Machine Guns, which I found very interesting. Um, I don't know where they're going to go with this storyline. I don't quite frankly know where they're going with Johnny Gargano's storyline either. The man's just basically planking on everything and being sad all the time, and I'm not sure where they're going with that dynamic. But I am interested that Candice LeRae helped the Motor City Machine Guns, and I'm wondering, does she then try to recruit them to get Johnny back to Johnny Wrestling? Or does she just completely leave Johnny and switch up to the Motor City Machine Guns? I could see that happening just for the simple fact that Johnny has not been himself. He's been just kind of in la la land, sad, depressed. So I'm interested to see that dynamic shift. But I was I was most surprised by the tag team swap with R-Truth and Damien winning the belt out of both of those matches. Then we had the promos cut for Jade and Rhea, and we saw that Meechin and B-Fab joined Jade. I am a little surprised by this because Meechin has been getting her ass beat by Jade literally every week. But I guess if you can't beat them, join them, right? Like, I feel like this will be a good group because Meechin is a badass. B-Fab can spit on the mic pretty well, like we saw her with Street Profits. And so I feel like this might be like the reinforcements that Jade needs to continue to take her over the top. Because let's be honest with you, Rhea Ripley doesn't need it reinforcements. She doesn't. Rhea's got this. She's got this on the mic in the ring. The whole performance aspect, she's got this. And I'm not saying that Jade doesn't. But what I am saying is we haven't been able to see enough of Jade to come to that conclusion yet, because in her title reign, the WWE hasn't really done much with her. So I think bringing in these reinforcements kind of makes her seem weaker. Makes her seem like, oh, you can't beat Rhea on your own. You have to have these other people to help you, which then in turn allows us to be shocked and surprised when it comes to WrestleMania and she absolutely kills it, because I think she will. I think Jade is a very tough, strong competitor. I don't think she needs reinforcements, but I like the WWE's train of thought saying, okay, let's add these people in. Let's make it look like you're scared of Rhea, because that's going to make your match even better come WrestleMania time. And then we, of course, had Randy Orton basically addressing the assault on Cody and then assaulting someone else. I am loving this Randy character that they're building and they're developing. I'm loving the fact that he just doesn't care. Like, he does not care. This is giving me like '09 Randy Orton, and he is best in this character. And I think that this is going to work well for this match, because everybody loves to love Cody, but everybody also loves a heel Randy. So I think this dynamic is going to be super interesting as we continue to grow on it. Cody obviously did not make an appearance on Friday Night SmackDown, so Randy then took out his aggression on Matt. And I'm sorry, Matt, that it had to be you, because I have nothing against you, but at the same rate, like, you shouldn't have walked up to Randy, because he's in an entire different mindset right now. And I think that's what the WWE is trying to portray, is like he doesn't really care at all. If he can do this to Cody, if he can do this to Matt, he can do it to anybody, which in turn is going to make an excellent champion when that time comes. We also had the Kit Wilson Jelly Roll stuff that's going on still, Jelly Jam and Kit Wilson, and I don't know what's going on here, honestly. Like, I just feel like this is unnecessary, and it's no shade to any of these guys, but I just don't get the purpose in it. Like, I mean, I guess it's just to have a filler match. I don't know, but I just don't get the purpose. I feel like we could spend our time building other things up, rather than this Jelly Jam Kit Wilson thing that we've got going on. And then the women's tag division is still total chaos, and is going to probably remain total chaos. We had the Bellas take on the Irresistible Forces, and Charlexa came in, obviously, which is like a deja vu moment for Charlexa's match. And so I feel like ultimately, again, I've said it time and time again, we're going to have a multiple women tag match at WrestleMania. I think that the Bella Twins and Charlexa are going to be a part of that, along with Bailey and Lyra. I definitely feel like they're going to be added to that as well, especially with them taking on Lash Legend and Nia Jax at Madison Square Garden next Monday. So, speaking of Mondays, let's move on to Monday Night Raw. Last night's episode honestly was pretty good. I was impressed when they released the lineup of what everything that was going to happen. It looked very good on paper, but a lot of the times it can look good on paper but not actually be good. So I was a little hesitant on getting my hopes up, but it was actually really good. The whole Brock Lesnar Oba storyline still has me pretty captivated. I'm not surprised that Paul Heyman came out and basically just, put Brock Lesnar on this tall mountain up here. But I do love the fact that Oba again crushed him for 2 weeks in a row. So I am loving the fact that Oba is kind of getting into Brock's head. Brock is the beast. He is used to being the top dog and being able to take out everybody, but Oba is challenging him in a way that he's not been challenged. And that storyline going into WrestleMania with Oba being in Brock's head is going to be one that makes their match even better. And I think with the whole Paul Heyman battle right now, because Paul Heyman's going through some things, That's not going to help Brock much at WrestleMania because Paul Heyman is not only going to be, dealing with Brock Lesnar, he's going to be dealing with Seth Rollins, and he's going to be dealing with the Vision, and so he's got all of these fires that he's dealing with. And I think that he's going to not be the Paul Heyman that helps people like he normally does, quite honestly. I am interested to see where they go with Seth for WrestleMania because right now he kind of seems to be like just haunting Paul Heyman. Um, I'm wondering if they're holding out hope that Braun Breaker's going to return because he doesn't really necessarily have like a return timeline. They said it's possible he could be back. So I'm wondering if they're holding out hope for that, and that's why they're not doing much with Seth and anybody else. Plus, the Vision is already kind of aligned with the Usos in the tag division, so I feel like they're definitely waiting on that final puzzle piece to fall, to figure out where Seth's gonna go. And maybe he's not cleared yet. Maybe he's doing this haunting thing because he can't actually get in the ring. We'll see how that plays out, but I do still think that it's interesting. I like the idea that Seth is kind of that haunting figure that's always going to bother Paul Heyman because of what Paul Heyman did to him. It makes an interesting dynamic as well. We talked about the Usos and the Vision. They seem to be aligned. Next week they have a street fight for the tag titles. I definitely think that this is where the tag titles are going to be defended at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be the Usos and the Vision. I'll just be interested to see how they play that out with them having a tag match next weekend. The one thing I'm kind of nervous about is I'm kind of nervous with the street fight because the Vision is dirty, they're sketchy, they're shady, they'll do what they can to win. I'm kind of nervous that they're going to take those tag titles off of the Usos next week, and then the Usos are going to get a rematch at WrestleMania. I don't know if I love that idea. But I also don't know if I love the idea of the Usos holding the tag titles till WrestleMania and winning at WrestleMania because I don't want the Vision to win. Let's be clear here. Um, I don't know if that's kind of anticlimactic to me. So maybe they do need that switch up so that the Usos can win it back at WrestleMania. I'm not real sure. This tag division has a big question mark for me right now because there's just not much of the storyline there. I do like that they're teasing a little bit of Kofi and Javon, since Xavier's out. I do love Javon as a singles competitor. I think he absolutely deserves to be in the IC title division. But if that's not the plan that they have, I don't mind this Kofi Javon um tag team either because they both have very similar styles, and I think that that would be a good tag team to strengthen that division because it's very lackluster at the moment. So I'll be interested to see if they continue on this path of division in the Usos because I feel like that's where we're going, or if somebody else's name gets thrown in that hat. I'm not 100% sure how they're going to play this out. Because, like I said, I feel like it would be a very anticlimactic WrestleMania moment for the Usos to carry it all the way in and then win. Um, but I also don't think they should lose. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. It's official. We have AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. I'm not surprised by this one. I kind of don't love the repeat storyline. But it's not surprising for the simple fact that they didn't really have time to build anything else up. And they obviously want AJ on that match card. She hasn't competed at a WrestleMania in years. So they want AJ there. They want that belt defended. And so Becky is obviously by default the best choice for that. Um, I'm still hoping AJ walks out, but we'll talk about WrestleMania predictions closer to WrestleMania. But I'm not surprised by that move at all because I just feel like that makes the most sense. We also had a tag match between the Kabuki Warriors and Bailey and Lyra, and Bailey and Lyra won, and they are going to face Lash and Nia next week. And I think that there's going to be some trickery going on next week, just like it has been in Charlexa's match, the Bella's match. It's not going to be any different for Bailey and Lyra's match. And I feel like that's where we're going to get the announcement of the multiple team tag teams. What I will say is, I feel like the road for Io Sky is going to be facing Asuka. We have seen Io kind of intervene a little bit with Kairi Zane and how Asuka's treating Kairi, and I feel like that's where we're going with that. And so it's really going to be like Io versus Asuka for like the guardianship of Kairi Zane at this point in time. I feel like though that is a good storyline for Io to be in. They didn't. I honestly would have moved her to SmackDown and put her in that Julia title storyline. But it seems like Tiffy is definitely going there. So then that leaves Io out once again. So I think that this is the best option. Io and Asuka are both performers. They both do wonderful matches together. And so again, this is another filler match like that Drew and Jacob one. That's going to be fantastic. And those are very important come WrestleMania time because, yes, you have excellent title matches, but you need excellent filler matches as well. So I think this is a good step in that direction. And we closed out the show with the Punk Roman feud once again. And we saw earlier in the show in their match that Jey Uso pretty much crashed out, knocked both Logan and Austin Theory out with the brass knuckles, and pretty much solidified that, like, we're not gonna take this shit anymore. And Jimmy warned Punk when he went out to the ring that Jey was on a mission. Jey's on a whole nother level tonight to just watch out and watch himself. And of course, Jey came out, Jimmy was there, and then the tribal chief came out, and everything went nuts. The one thing that I took away the most from this is the fact that Jey was kind of calling the shots. He basically told Jimmy, like, look, we're gonna save Roman for Punk. We're gonna save Punk for Roman. Roman's gonna take care of him. And then he basically looked at Roman and was like, go handle your shit. And Roman did that. So I think this is an interesting dynamic for the bloodline. Because before, Roman wouldn't take orders from anybody. Whether it be cousins, brothers, sisters, nobody. He was not taking orders from anybody at all. He was the guy. And now it almost seems like Roman respects the Usos and views them kind of as like the same level, which I think is and a very dangerous slash interesting dynamic for this bloodline, because we saw what the bloodline did. We saw the dominance that they had years ago when Roman had the titles, the Usos had the tag titles. They were literally the definition of dominant. And at that point in time, they still bickered. Roman was here, the Usos were here. He was way above them. And that caused a lot of conflict. Now we have Roman here, and he's viewing the Usos here. So if they're on the same level and they're on the same dominance, this faction, if they do get back together and form this bloodline again, is going to be crazy unstoppable. And I'm very interested to see it, and I'm very interested to hear it. Also, we have been seeing Roman wear the OTC1 shirt for a long time. He has worn this for a very long time. We've never had an OTC2. So my question is Jey the OTC2? Like, is he going to be the tribal chief as well? Like, I don't know where they're going with this. Or I don't know if they just drop that OTC1 and just say forget it, like Roman is the tribal chief, but the Usos are still on that same level. But I think either way, we have a very interesting match between Roman and Punk coming up. We have a very interesting few weeks of Roman and Punk come up, and I don't think any second of it is going to disappoint. Like, they have been absolutely putting on a performance, and they are making me so excited for this match. It's absurd, really, honestly. It's just absurd. Um but I think that we are actually doing really well on the build to WrestleMania. And I was a little nervous about a month ago because we didn't have much, but they're doing really well. The storylines that they're giving us, I think, are fantastic, and I am very interested to see week to week what happens, because I feel like we're only going to grow and the fire that we are starting for WrestleMania is only going to get bigger. But let me know, what was your favorite moments of the last few episodes? What are you looking forward to the most? As always, subscribe, like, comment, follow me on our socials, and I'll see you guys next time.